What does the word Tibet really mean to you? Is it just high mountains and prayer flags? What many overlook is that 99% of its true story remains untold. What if I told you there's a lake that can show you visions of the future, or a wall made of bones that whispers secrets? Today, we're not just visiting Tibet, we're uncovering it. We will show you the sacred, the strange, and the profoundly hidden places. This is the true story of the roof of the world. Most travelers land in Lhasa, see the famous Potala Palace, the Jokhang Temple, and maybe Drepung Monastery. They snap their pictures, buy their souvenirs, and they think they've seen Tibet. But the thing is, they've missed everything. The real power, the real mystery of central Tibet isn't in the main attractions. It's hidden in the valleys just over the next ridge, in places you need special permission to enter and a strong will to reach. Our journey begins just a short drive from the city, but it feels like 1,000 years away. We head north of Lhasa, leaving the paved roads behind. The van bumps along a gravel track, climbing higher and higher. The air gets thinner. We're heading for a place called Serfu Monastery. This isn't just another monastery. This is the heart of one of the major schools of Tibetan Buddhism, the Karma Kagyu. It's nestled in a hidden valley surrounded by rugged, bare mountains. When you first see it, it takes your breath away, and not just because of the altitude, which is over 14,000 feet. The monastery is huge, a splash of white and gold against the brown mountains. Prayer flags are stretched everywhere, thousands of them, snapping and cracking in the wind. The sound is constant, like a river of whispers. This place was founded way back in the year 1189. To put it mildly, it has seen a lot of history. For the traveler, this is a different world. You won't find souvenir shops here. You might find a small guest house run by the monastery. Don't expect comfort. We're talking concrete floors, a shared bathroom down the hall, and maybe a small stove for heat. A bed might cost you $10 to $15 a night. The food is just as simple. You'll eat what the monks eat. This means tsampa, that's roasted barley flour, mixed with butter tea. The tea is salty, not sweet, and it's an acquired taste, but it's warm and it's full of energy, which you need up here. Inside the main hall, the air is thick. It smells of burning yak butter lamps and ancient incense. It's dark, and your eyes take a minute to adjust. Then you see it, a towering statue of the Maitreya, the future Buddha. It's massive, stretching up several stories. But here's the kicker. The real secret of Serfu isn't in the main hall. The pilgrims, you see, they whisper about something else. Locals tell a story. They say that deep underground, beneath the main temple, there is a hidden chamber. This chamber holds the relics of the very first Karmapa, the founder of the monastery. And the story goes that during the full moon, these relics glow. They give off their own light, a soft, warm light that has nothing to do with lamps. It's said that only the highest monks know the way in, and they perform secret meditations there, bathing in the light of the relics. It's a story, right? But up here at 14,000 feet with the wind howling outside, you start to wonder. From a place of glowing relics, our path now leads to a place where the final goodbye takes flight. If Tsurfu holds the secrets of life, our next stop confronts the reality of what comes after. We travel to a place called Drigung Til Monastery. This one is perched on a steep hillside. To get there, you have to climb. The steps are steep and the air is thin. Many people are crazy about getting a look at this place, but it's a hard journey. The monastery itself is amazing. It looks like it's glued to the side of the mountain. The buildings are a maze of white walls and red-painted wood. The murals inside are hundreds of years old, showing gods and demons in vivid colors. But the thing nobody tells you is why this monastery is so famous. It's not for the art, it's for what happens just above it. Drigung Til is home to one of the most famous sky burial platforms in all of Tibet. Now, this is a topic that is very sensitive. For Tibetans, the body is just a shell. After someone passes away, the soul has moved on. The body is empty, so they practice a final act of charity. They offer the body back to nature to feed the vultures. It's a hard thing for outsiders to understand. Tourists are, quite rightly, not allowed to watch. This is a private, sacred ritual, but you can see the platform from a distance. It's a wide, flat area on the mountain, overlooking the vast plains below. You can see the large vultures, known as griffins, circling in the sky. The monastery was founded in 1179. This practice is ancient. The unknown story here is not for the faint of heart. Locals tell of a monk in the 12th century. He was performing the ritual. As he chanted, the story goes, he began to levitate. He floated several feet off the ground. They say his shadow was left behind, burned into a piece of cliff rock. Pilgrims who make the hard climb to the monastery look for this rock. They trace the outline of the shadow, believing it gives them a blessing against a bad rebirth, a way to understand that life is temporary. A shadow on a rock is a strange thing, but next we find a place where legends left more than just shadows. Our next journey takes us to Drak Yerpa. This isn't a single building, it's a whole cliffside filled with caves. Think of a honeycomb, but for monks, this place is just north of Lhasa, but again, it feels like another planet. You hike up a steep path and you start seeing them, small openings in the rock. These are meditation caves. There are over 30 of them. Some are tiny, just big enough for one person to sit in. Others are larger, turned into small chapels with statues and offerings inside. The history here is just amazing. They say the great Guru Rinpoche, the man who brought Buddhism to Tibet in the 8th century, meditated here. King Songtsen Gampo, the first great king of Tibet, also used these caves. You can walk the Kora, the holy path, around the cliffs. It's quiet. You might see wild blue sheep balancing on the rocks. The altitude is high, around 13,000 feet. There are sacred springs here too. The water is freezing cold, but people believe it has healing powers. They splash it on their faces and fill up bottles to take home. You won't find a hotel here. Most people come for a day trip. You can buy instant noodles and a hot water from a small tea house at the bottom, but that's it. This is a place for pilgrims, not for comfort. But what about the hidden story? The story of Drakyerpa is about a secret. Back in the 7th century, King Songtsen Gampo was in a conflict. His enemies were closing in. He had a sacred scroll, a text that was said to predict the future of Tibet. He couldn't let it fall into enemy hands, so, the legend says, he came here. He hid the scroll in one of the deepest, darkest caves, and he put a blessing on it. The scroll would only reveal itself to a true, pure-hearted person who came looking for it. Locals say that to find it, a meditator must fast for 3 days and 3 nights. Then, and only then, the cave will show them the scroll. It's said to still be there, waiting, holding the future of Tibet in its dusty pages. A hidden scroll is one thing. But what if you could see the future in a lake? We leave the caves behind and head for a place of even deeper mystery. This is Ritro Hermitage. This place is a real hidden gem. It's a small retreat near Lhasa, but it's very hard to get to. You have to hike for several hours, straight up a mountain. This hermitage, from the 14th century, was a favorite spot for the Dalai Lamas when they wanted to get away from the world and meditate in peace. You won't find grand halls here. You find small huts, prayer wheel paths, and caves with ancient thangkas or paintings on the walls. The monks here are serious. They are in retreat. They spend months, even years, in silence. This is a place of real, hardcore devotion. As a visitor, you have to be quiet. You can walk the paths, spin the prayer wheels, and feel the powerful silence. The air is clear, and the views of the valley below are incredible. The hidden story here is about a miracle. The story goes that the 5th Dalai Lama, the one who built the Potala Palace, became very ill. None of the doctors in Lhasa could help him. He was weak, and people feared he would not survive. He was brought here to Ritro. He meditated in one of the caves, and he drank water from a hidden spring, a spring only the monks knew about. Within days, he was cured. His sickness was gone. From that day on, the water from that spring was called the elixir of vision. The monks here guard it. They believe it doesn't just heal the body, it heals the mind. They say if you drink it, it helps you see the truth. It's not for sale. It's smuggled out drop by drop by monks who carry it to other high lamas as a precious gift. A spring that heals is powerful, but our next stop holds a spirit that can predict the future of a nation. Our next stop is just half a mile from the huge Drepung Monastery. But it's a world apart. This is Nechung Monastery. This place looks different. The paintings on the walls are not peaceful, they are intense. They show the protector gods of Tibet. These are powerful, angry-looking figures surrounded by flames. They are the guardians. This monastery is the traditional home of the Nechung oracle. What's an oracle? It's a person, a monk, who is trained to be a vessel. A spirit, a protector of Tibet, is said to enter his body. For centuries, the government of Tibet would not make any big decision without asking the oracle first. The oracle would go into a trance. His body would shake. He would wear a huge, heavy headdress weighing over 50 pounds. Other monks would have to hold him up, and he would speak in a strange voice, giving prophecies. This wasn't just for show, this was serious business. The hidden story is a modern one. It's said that in the 1950s, just before the Dalai Lama left Tibet, the oracle performed a trance. He gave a warning. He predicted the invasion. He predicted the exile. His words were written down on a secret scroll, a warning that the old world was about to end. The monks who heard it were shaken. Today, the monastery is quiet, but those paintings on the wall, they remember. They remember the predictions, the warnings, and the spirits that guarded this land. From a speaking spirit, we now climb to a place where chanting voices are said to bend reality. Our last stop in this region is the Chimfu Nunnery and Chingpu Hermitage Caves. This is a network of meditation caves on a mountainside not far from Lhasa, but this place is different. It's mostly for nuns. This is one of the most sacred Nyingma sites. The Nyingma are the oldest school of Tibetan Buddhism. To get here, you have to hike, and it's not an easy hike. It takes several hours climbing up a steep, winding path. You pass small huts and caves. This is where the nuns live, some in total isolation. They come here to meditate on the words of Guru Rinpoche, who also meditated here in the 8th century. This place is known for its power. The nuns believe that any mantras, any prayers you chant here are multiplied, not just by 10 times or 100 times, but by 100,000 times. The spiritual power of the mountain amplifies your voice. You can visit the main temple, a small, humble building. You can give an offering to the nuns. They are kind and their faces are weathered by the sun and the wind. They live a hard life, but a peaceful one. The hidden story here is a strange one. The nuns will tell you about the caves. They say the caves are all connected, not by tunnels, but by sound. There is one hidden cave, they say, high up on the mountain. If you chant in that cave, your voice doesn't just echo, it teleports. They say a nun chanting in that one cave can be heard by another nun in a different cave, miles away, as if she was standing right next to her. It's a secret sound, a holy connection that links all the meditators on the mountain. They believe it's the mountain itself helping them reach enlightenment. The power of these central valleys is deep, but now we must travel south to the very cradle of Tibetan civilization. When people think of Tibetan history, they think of Lhasa. But the thing is, Lhasa is not the beginning. To find the start of the story, you have to go south to the Yarlung Valley. This is the cradle of Tibetan civilization. This valley, in the Shannon prefecture, is different. It's at a lower altitude, so it's greener. The Yarlung Tsangpo River flows through it, wide and calm. This is where the first kings of Tibet ruled, long before Lhasa was the capital. The vibe here is peaceful. It's a land of farms and small villages. There are far fewer tourists than in Lhasa. To get here, you fly into Setang town. This is the third largest city in Tibet, but it feels like a small town. From here, you can explore the valley. The first place you have to see is Yumbulagang Palace. You see it from miles away. It's a stone fortress, perched on top of a sharp, narrow hill in the middle of the valley. It looks like something out of a fantasy movie. This is, by tradition, the first palace in all of Tibet. It's not big, not like the Potala. It's ancient. You climb the steep stairs to the top. The building is made of stone and wood. Inside, it's dark and smells of old wood and incense. The views from the roof are just amazing. You can see the whole valley, the green fields, the river, and the mountains. But the story of this place is what's really wild. The official story is that it was built for the first king of Tibet, Nyatri Tsenpo. But the unknown story, the legend, is much older. Locals believe the palace was built for a divine monkey ancestor. They say this monkey was the father of the Tibetan people. And inside the palace, there's another whisper, a story of a hidden chamber deep in the stone foundation. In this chamber, it's said, there are peacock feathers, but not just any feathers. These feathers are said to grant fertility. Women who are having trouble having children make the pilgrimage here. They pray at the spot where the chamber is said to be, hoping for a blessing from that ancient monkey king. From the first palace, we go to one of the first temples, a place that holds a dragon's treasure. Just down the road from the palace is Trandruk Monastery. This temple is old, really old. It's one of the very first Buddhist temples in Tibet, even older than the Jokhang in Lhasa. It's a beautiful, serene complex. You walk through courtyards filled with sunlight. Monks chant in the assembly hall, but this monastery is famous for one thing. One unbelievable treasure. It's a thangka, a religious painting on a scroll, but this one isn't painted, it's made of pearls. You go into a dark side chapel. The monk pulls back a curtain, and there it is. It's a picture of a goddess, Chenrezig. And it's made of thousands, over 29,000 tiny, perfectly matched pearls. There are also diamonds and other gems. It's one of the most valuable things in all of Tibet. It's kept in the dark because light could damage it. It's a true wow factor. But it's not the hidden story. The hidden story of Trandruk means dragon. The legend says that when the monks were building the temple, a huge dragon was living in the lake where they wanted to build. The king had to defeat the dragon. After he did, the dragon gave him a single perfect pearl. The monks, so the story goes, took that pearl and mixed it into the plaster of the monastery's walls. They built the dragon's pearl right into the foundation to protect the temple forever. Pilgrims come here during an eclipse. They say that during the darkness of an eclipse, the wall with the pearl inside starts to shimmer. It gives off a faint magical light. The Valley of Kings is full of magic, but our next stop holds a flower-filled fairy tale. We travel deeper into the Lokha region to a place called the Jari Valley. This is a place most tourists never hear of. It's a gorgeous gorge, a deep valley that in the spring becomes a carpet of flowers. We're talking about azaleas, not just bushes, whole forests of them, pink, red, white. The entire valley floor is a riot of color. There are hot springs nearby where you can soak. The hike into the valley is steep, but the reward is a place that looks like a fairyland. This place is sacred. But it's not just sacred to Buddhists, it's sacred to the old spirits, the spirits of the land. The local farmers, you see, they have a story. They believe that this valley is the dancing ground for fairy spirits. On the equinox, the first day of spring and the first day of fall, they say the fairies come out. They dance in the flower-filled meadows all night. You can't see them, but you can hear them laughing, and you have to be careful. The locals leave offerings for them, small bowls of milk or barley. If you don't show respect, the fairies can get angry. They put a blossom curse on you. It's a curse that makes your crops wither and your animals sick. So everyone who lives near the Jari Valley knows, respect the flowers and always, always respect the fairies. Fairies are one thing, but what about a lake where a submerged building grants wishes? Our final stop in this region is one of the most beautiful lakes you will ever see, Lake Puma Yumko. This lake is huge, over 115 square miles, and it's high at over 15,500 feet. It's fed by snowmelt from the mountains, and the water is a bright, clear blue. The shores are grassland where nomads graze their yaks. It's a heavenly, peaceful place, but it has a secret. This isn't a famous tourist spot. It's a long drive to get here. The road is rough, but pilgrims come. Why? They come for the story. The legend says that at the bottom of this lake there is a submerged stupa, a holy building. You can't see it. Most of the year it's hidden by the deep water, but once a year on a specific day in the summer the water level drops, and the very top of the stupa is said to rise out of the water. Pilgrims line the shore waiting for it. The story goes that if you see it and you are pure of heart, you can touch it, and if you touch the top of that holy stupa, you are granted one wish. But there's a catch. To make the wish, you must also make a vow, a secret vow of silence. You must promise to never ever tell anyone what you wished for. If you keep the secret, your wish will come true. The secrets of the Yarlung are deep. But now we must travel to the other side of Tibet, to the far west, a place of haunting ruins and lost kingdoms. To get to our next destination, you have to be committed. We're going to the Ngari region, the far west. This is the most remote part of Tibet. It's a high, dry, empty plateau. The altitude here rarely drops below 13,000 feet. The journey is hard. We're talking days of driving in a four-wheel drive vehicle on roads that are sometimes just dirt tracks. Why come all this way? For a ghost, the ghost of an entire kingdom. We are going to the ruins of the Guge kingdom. When you first see it, it doesn't look real. It's a mountain, and a city has been carved into it. Imagine a giant 1,000-foot-high hill of yellow earth, and it's honeycombed with caves, tunnels, and buildings, all the way up from the bottom to the very top, where the king's palace once stood. This was a powerful kingdom. It ruled here from the 10th to the 17th century. It was a golden age of art and religion. And then it just vanished. The kingdom was attacked by an invading army in the 1600s, and after that, the city was abandoned. Today, it's a ghost town. You can climb up through the tunnels. It's dark, and you need a flashlight. You can explore the old cave homes. The real treasures are the temples. Inside these crumbling buildings, the walls are covered in frescoes, paintings, and they are amazing. After hundreds of years, the colors are still bright. They show the life of the Buddha, and they show the kings and queens of Guge. You can stay in a small guest house in the village below. It's basic, but the views of the ruins at sunrise are worth it. The sun turns the earth castles a deep red. The hidden story here is a dark one. When the city was abandoned, it was left to the wind. In the 1980s, explorers found skeletons in the caves, skeletons of the last people of Guge, and many of them were still wearing their jewelry. Gold amulets, turquoise beads. The local nomads will not go up there at night. They say the ghost of the last king still walks the halls of his palace. They say he is guarding the kingdom's treasures, which were hidden in the tunnels before the final attack. They believe he protects the gold from looters, and that anyone who tries to steal from Guga will be trapped in the tunnels forever. A ghost king is spooky, but nearby, an entire forest is made of ghosts. Just a short drive from the Guje ruins is a place that looks like another planet. This is the Tsada clay forest. This isn't a forest of trees, it's a forest of earth. Over thousands of years, the wind and water have carved the soft earth into giant, strange shapes, spires, castles, towers. It's a huge area stretching for miles. It's a photographer's dream. At dawn, the earth castles are a soft yellow. At sunset, they turn a fiery red and orange. You can drive through parts of it on a road that winds between the giant formations. It's silent here, eerily silent. There are no hotels, no food. There is nothing but the wind and the dust. This is a side trip from the famous Mount Kailash, which is nearby. Many pilgrims to Kailash stop here to marvel at the strange landscape. But the nomads, they have a different take on this place. They don't see a clay forest. They see the ghosts of the Guga kingdom. The local story is that each of these wind-whittled shapes, each of these spires, is the trapped spirit of an ancient Guj soldier or citizen. They say that the wind is the sound of them wailing, still mourning their lost kingdom, and they have a warning. Don't touch the formations. They believe that if you touch one of the earth castles, especially at dusk, you will summon a vision. You will see the lost king's court. You'll see the soldiers, the dancing girls, the monks. You'll see the ghost kingdom come to life, and they say you might like it so much, you'll never leave. From earth ghosts, we travel to see the art of ghosts from a different time. The Ungari region is vast, and it's full of secrets. Our next stop is so remote, so hard to find, that almost no one has ever heard of it. These are the Piang and Dongar caves. This is a complex of over 1,000 caves dug into a cliffside. They are even older than the Guje kingdom. What's inside? Art, cave paintings. These paintings are over 1,000 years old. And they are not just Buddhist. Many of them are from the Bon religion, the ancient pre-Buddhist belief of Tibet. These caves are like the Ajanta caves in India, but almost completely unknown. They are perfectly preserved because no one comes here. To get here, you need a special permit. You need a guide. You need a very, very tough jeep. When you get there, you'll be the only one. You and the keeper of the caves. A local man who has the keys to the locked gates. You go inside. It's dark. He turns on a flashlight, and the walls explode with color. Animals, gods, geometric patterns, art that is 1,000 years old, looking like it was painted yesterday. The hidden story is about the Bon shamans who made these. They weren't just painting pictures, they were painting the future. Locals believe that these ancient shamans painted prophecies on these walls. They foretold the coming of Buddhism. They foretold the rise of the Dalai Lamas. And the story goes, one faded mural in a cave no one is allowed to enter foretold the Dalai Lama's exile. It was a strange picture that no one understood for centuries, until it happened. The Far West is a place of powerful magic. It's also a place of healing, as we'll see next. After the long, dusty journey, we need a break. We head for Tirthapuri Hot Springs. This is a sacred site, northwest of the holy Mount Kailash. After pilgrims finish their Kora, their holy walk around Kailash, they come here. This is a place to wash. Hot, healing water bubbles up from the ground. It's full of minerals. There are simple, stone-lined pools. You can soak your tired muscles in the hot water. There is a small monastery here, built around a cave where Guru Rinpoche is said to have meditated. But this isn't a spa. This is a holy site. You walk the path of karma. It's a small loop. You pass a rock with a hole in it. They say if you are free of sin, you can crawl through it. This is a place for ritual. But the unknown story here is about one of the most amazing events in Tibetan lore. Pilgrims don't just bathe here to clean their bodies. They believe the water can erase sins, not just one or two. They say one bath here erases 1,000 past sins. But the story that monks tell is about a lama from the 19th century. She was a great meditator. She came to Tirthapuri. She bathed in the springs and she meditated in the cave. And one day, in front of several herders, her body dissolved. She didn't pass away. She dissolved into a rainbow. It's called a rainbow body. It's the highest form of enlightenment where the physical body turns back into pure energy. The herders who saw it were stunned. They say the smell of flowers filled the air for a week. The land of the Guge kingdom is powerful, but now we must travel to the great waters of Tibet, the mystical lakes. The Tibetan plateau is not just mountains. It's also a land of lakes, huge, high-altitude lakes that are seen as the home of gods and goddesses, and some of them, they say, can tell the future. Our first stop is the most famous oracle lake of all, Lamo Latso. This lake is tiny, barely half a mile wide. It's high at over 13,000 feet and hidden in a ring of mountains in eastern Tibet. It's a multi-day trek to get here from the nearest monastery. This is not a casual trip, but this Soul Lake has a huge job. Ever since the second Dalai Lama in the 15th century, this lake has been used to find the next Dalai Lama. After a Dalai Lama passes away, high monks make the long journey here. They pray, and they meditate, and they stare into the water. They are looking for a vision. The lake, they say, will show them. It might show them a letter or a shape of a house or a valley, a clue to where the new child has been reborn. The water itself is strange. It's a deep turquoise, but it shifts colors. It's like a living thing. But the hidden story is older and darker. The lake is protected by a goddess, Palden Lamo. She is one of those angry protector goddesses. The legend says that centuries ago, an invading army was coming to destroy Lhasa. They were marching through this valley. Palden Lamo was furious. She drowned the entire army in the lake, pulled them right under. They say the lake has no bottom. And here's the kicker. Sometimes divers or people on the shore, they find things. An ancient piece of armor, a rusted helmet, a broken weapon. It fuels the legend. They say Palden Lamo still has her army at the bottom of the lake in her underwater palace. A lake that shows the future is amazing. A lake that hides an army is terrifying. But what about a lake made of salt? We travel west to the high, empty plains of the Changtang. This is nomad country. It's a vast, high-altitude desert. And in the middle of it, we find Sokar Lake. This is a salt lake, a brackish, strange body of water. The landscape is surreal, endless flat plains. The lake itself is a mix of blue and green. The shores are white with dried salt. But it's not dead. This place is alive. This is one of the highest salt lake ecosystems on Earth, at almost 15,000 feet. You will see kiang, the Tibetan wild ass, galloping in herds. You'll see black-necked cranes, one of the rarest birds in the world. They come here to breed. There are no hotels. The only way to stay here is camping. At night, the sky is so clear you feel like you can touch the stars. There is zero light pollution. The silence is absolute. But the local nomads, they have a story. They say this lake isn't empty. They are Bon, not Buddhist. And their story is about a submerged temple. They claim that in the 10th century, a great Bon temple stood on the shore. An earthquake or a flood sank it. It's still down there. And they say, during a total solar eclipse, when the moon blocks the sun, the water level drops, and the temple surfaces. For just a few minutes, the golden roof of the Bon temple will appear. And the flocks of birds, they say, will all start chanting. They're not chirping. They are chanting lost shamanic songs, a memory of the old religion. From a salt lake, we go to a lake so holy, it's a living thing. Now we go to Tangra Yumko. This is another Bon sacred lake. This is, for the Bon religion, what Mount Kailash is for the Buddhists. It's in the remote Xiangxiong region, the heart of the ancient Bon kingdom. The lake is shaped like a vajra, a holy thunderbolt. The water is crystal clear and guarded by snow-capped peaks. The sunsets here are said to be the most beautiful in Tibet, turning the water a deep, fiery pink. Pilgrims come here to walk the Kora around the lake. It's a long walk, taking many days. This is a place of deep, ancient power. But the local Bon shamans, they tell a different story. They say the lake is alive and it's hungry. They say the lake swallows unworthy pilgrims, people who come to the lake with bad hearts or who have broken their vows. The lake takes them. They say people just vanish from the shore. It's a scary story, but here's a weird fact. In the 1940s, an explorer was here. He was one of the few Westerners to ever see the lake. He was taking pictures, and when he developed them, his photos of the lake had strange lights in them. Ethereal, glowing orbs hovering over the water. He said it was just a lens flare, a trick of the light. The shamans, they say it was the lake, showing its true face. A lake that swallows people is one thing, but what about a lake that straddles two worlds? We head to the far, far west, to a lake that is so big it's in two different countries, Pangong TSO. This lake is famous now because of border disputes, but let's forget that. Let's talk about the lake. It's huge, almost 100 miles long, but it's very narrow, like a ribbon, and it has a secret. The eastern end of the lake in Tibet is fresh water, you can drink it. The western end of the lake in Kashmir is salt water. The water literally changes from fresh to salt in the middle, and because of this the lake is divided. The fish, they live in the fresh water part. They will swim right up to the dividing line, and then they stop. They will not cross. The lake is high, at 14,000 feet. It's famous for the birds that flock here from May to July. But the local story is about the fish. Why do they stop? The Bon story says that an ancient shaman put a curse on the lake. He was in a dispute with a shaman from the west. To prove his power, he drew a line in the lake. He forbade the fish from crossing, and they never have. Anglers, people who try to fish here, they report a strange thing. They say during the migration season, when the birds are here, the water at the dividing line hums. Some even say it sounds like it's screaming. The sound of thousands of fish wanting to cross but held back by an ancient curse. A cursed lake is strange. But what about a lake with a ghost on its shore? We travel back towards the center to Namtso Lake. This is one of the most famous Big Three lakes, but we aren't going to the main tourist spot. We are going to Namtso's Tashi Dor Peninsula. This is a spiritual nook, a small peninsula on the southeast shore. Most visitors who stay on the southern shore miss it completely. This place is a maze of strange rock formations, weathered by the wind, and it's full of hermit caves. This is where you find the real nomad. The best time to be here is at sunrise. You can camp here if you can handle the cold. The altitude is over 15,000 feet. The sun comes up and it lights up the Nienchen Tanglha mountains on the other side. The lake turns from black to purple to a deep, burning blue. It's one of the most beautiful sights on earth, but this place has a secret. The hidden story is about a yogi named Atisha from the 11th century. He came here to meditate, to fight the demons of the lake. He meditated in one of the caves. And his power was so strong he left his handprints in the stone. You can still see them. Pilgrims come here, they find the cave, and they press their own hands against the handprints in the rock. They believe that for just a second, you get a flash of Atisha's enlightenment. You get a direct connection to a man who lived 1,000 years ago. From a yogi's handprint, we go to a lonely island temple. Our next lake is Pagsum Lake, also known as Basum TSO. This is a Nyingma sacred lake. It's in a different part of Tibet, in Nyingchi, which is lower and greener. It looks almost like the Swiss Alps. The lake is a perfect mirror, reflecting the green forests and snowy peaks. And in the middle of the lake, there is a small island. And on the island, there is a temple, Kozong Temple. You have to take a wooden boat to get there. The temple is old, from the 8th century. It's a peaceful, beautiful spot. But the boatmen, the ones who row you across, they tell a story. They say that island is full of ghosts, not bad ghosts, but the ghosts of old monks who are still guarding the temple, and they are guarding the real treasure. The ancient texts from the 8th century that are stored on the island. The boatman will tell you if you row out on a windy night when the moon is full, you can hear them. You can hear the sound of pages turning. The ghosts are in the library reading the holy books. They say the sound is a lure. It's trying to get the curious to come to the island to see what they are guarding. A ghostly library is one thing, but our last lake holds the loneliest monk in the world. This is Rituo Temple. It's not on a big lake, but it's on the famous Yamdrok Lake. Yamdrok is the giant scorpion-shaped lake that everyone sees on the way from Lhasa to Gyantse, but they don't see this. You have to drive off the main road onto a small, lonely bank. And there, on a tiny patch of land sticking out into the water, is a single solitary temple. This is Rituo, the loneliest temple in the world. Why? Because it has only one resident. One monk. He is the guardian of the temple. He lives here, alone, all year round. His only job is to protect the temple and to pray. It's a life of profound isolation. You can drive out and visit. He is often happy to see people. He will make you tea. But what is the hidden story? The nomads say that this temple was built on a special spot. It was built directly on the eye of the dragon that lives in Yamdrok Lake, and the lone monk, he is not just a guardian, he is a communicator. They say his job is to talk to the lake spirits to keep the dragon calm. And on the full moon, if you look out from the temple, the tides of the lake pull back, and you can see them. Submerged altars, stone tables under the water, and on the altars, the story goes, are glowing orbs. Orbs of light, placed there by the lake spirits as an offering to the loneliest monk in the world. We leave the mystical waters and head for the high monasteries, the pillars of the sky. Tibet is a land of monasteries, but we are not looking for the big ones. We are looking for the special ones, the ones with a unique story. We travel south of Shigatse, the second largest city, to Shalu Monastery. This monastery, founded in the year 1087, is different. When you look at it, it's a strange mix. The bottom part is classic Tibetan, stone walls, flat roofs, but the top part, it's Chinese. It has curved, green-tiled roofs. This is a blend of two worlds. Inside, it's famous for its art. Sand mandalas, intricate paintings, and huge, colorful thangkas. This was a great center of learning in the 14th century. A scholar named Bhutan Rinchen Drub lived here. He was basically a genius. He collected all the Buddhist texts and put them into one giant collection. But he was also, into other things. The hidden story of Shalu is about alchemy. The story goes that Bhutan, the great scholar, was also trying to find the elixir of eternal youth. He wrote a text on it. A forbidden text. It described how to mix herbs and minerals to stop aging. This was seen as dangerous knowledge. So, the story goes, he buried it. He hid the alchemical text somewhere in the walls of the monastery, and rumors persist. They say a few select monks, generation after generation, have been trying to decode it. They are still looking for the elixir. Still trying to find the secret to eternal youth hidden in the walls of Shalu. From eternal youth, we go to a 3D vision of the path to enlightenment. Our next stop is in the town of Gyantse. This is the Gyantse Kumbum. This is one of the most amazing buildings in all of Tibet. It's a stupa, a holy monument. But it's not just a dome, it's a 9-story tall, 3-dimensional mandala. What does that mean? It means you can go inside it. You start at the bottom and you spiral your way up floor by floor. Each floor and each room is a different chapel. There are 76 chapels in total. Each one is filled with statues and murals. The murals are a mix of Nepali, Tibetan, and Chinese styles. This building from 1425 is 37 meters, 121 feet tall. As you climb, you are on a holy path. You are symbolically walking the path to enlightenment. When you finally get to the top, you are rewarded with an amazing panoramic view of the whole town and the fortress on the hill. The hidden story here is from more recent times. In 1904, a British invasion force came through Gyantse. There was a big conflict. The monks at the Kumbum knew the soldiers were coming. They had to hide their greatest treasures. So they took their solid gold relics and their most precious statues and they hid them. Where? Inside the thick walls of the stupa itself. They sealed them up. The monks were forced to leave. Many years later, when they returned, some of the hiding spots were forgotten. They say the gold is still in there, and they say if you stand in the right chapel on the right day and you chant, the vibrations from your voice will make the hidden gold hum. You can hear a faint ringing in the walls. From a humming stupa, we go to a center of cosmic knowledge. We travel to Mind-Rolling Monastery. This is a Nyingma center, the old school. This monastery has had a tough life. It was founded in the 1600s. It was destroyed in 1718. It was rebuilt. It was damaged again. It was rebuilt again. It is a symbol of resilience. But mind-rolling is not famous for fighting. It's famous for thinking. This was the great center for learning astronomy, the Tibetan calendar, and even medicine. Monks here weren't just praying, they were calculating. They were mapping the stars. The monastery is also famous for its incense. The mind-rolling incense recipe is a closely guarded secret, one of the most famous in Tibet. But the hidden story goes back to that first destruction in 1718. The monastery was in ruins. The monks were scattered. But one monk had saved the incense recipe. He started making it. And as the smoke rose, he had a vision. The protective spirits of the monastery, drawn by the smell, came to him. They showed him where to find other monks. They showed him how to rebuild. The story goes that the incense revived the monastery. And to this day, when they light that special incense, they believe it's not just a nice smell. They believe it is calling the protector spirits back to watch over the monastery and its ancient knowledge. Our final monastery holds 100,000 secrets and one escape route. We return to Gyantse, to the Palcho Monastery. This is the monastery that the Kumbum is part of. This monastery is special because it's not for just one school. It housed 3 different schools of Tibetan Buddhism, all living together. But its main claim to fame is the Kumbum, the stupa of 100,000 Buddhas. We already talked about the building, but let's talk about the art. There are said to be over 10,000 murals inside. 10,000 paintings of Buddhas, gods and demons. It's an overwhelming amount of art. But these murals, they had a secret. The hidden story is that the artists, way back in the 15th century, built escape routes into the murals. They knew that monasteries were targets during conflicts. So, behind the paintings, they built secret passages. A hidden door in a wall, a tunnel behind a statue. These routes were known only to the abbot. The story goes that in 1959, during the uprising, one monk used them. He knew the monastery was in danger. He gathered up the most precious ancient scriptures. He went to a specific mural of a protector god. He pushed on the god's eye. A secret door opened. He went into the dark tunnels and he smuggled the scriptures out, saving them. They say he left a ghostly chalk mark on the wall, a small white line that can still be seen if you know where to look. The monastic hearts are full of secrets, but now we must go to the most remote places of all, the frontiers. This is it, the end of the road. These are the places that are the hardest to reach, the most dangerous and the most rewarding. We start near the top of the world, Rongbuk Glacier. Everyone knows Everest Base Camp. It's a circus. It's crowded with climbers and tourists, but just near it is the Rongbuk Glacier and the world's highest monastery, Rongbuk Monastery. We are at 16,400 feet. The air has 40% less oxygen than at sea level. The glacier itself is a river of ice. It's serene. It's quiet. You are far from the base camp crowds. You can see towering formations of ice. At night, with zero light pollution, the stars are so bright they look like diamonds on black velvet. You can stay at the monastery guest house. It is the definition of basic, a cot in a cold room, but the monks will give you hot tea. The pre-climbing Tibetans, they didn't see a mountain to be climbed. They saw a holy place. And they believed the glacier was guarded. The hidden story here is about the Yeti, the abominable snowman. Before the 1920s, this was just a local story. But then, the first British expeditions came. In 1921, a British explorer found footprints, huge, human-like footprints in the snow, high on the glacier. He took pictures. The local guides refused to go further. They said it was the Yeti. The footprints led up towards a series of deep crevasses, and then they vanished. The mystery was never solved. The monks at Rongbuk, they just smile. They say the Yeti is the guardian. He protects the mountain from those who come with ego rather than with respect. A Yeti is a wild story. But our next stop is a peak that whispers. Not everyone wants to climb Everest. For those who want a taste of high-altitude climbing, there is Yuju Peak. This is a 20,275-foot summit in the Kunlun Mountains. It's considered a non-technical climb. That doesn't mean it's easy. It means you don't need rock climbing gear, but you need to be in amazing shape. The ascent takes 2 to 3 days from a base camp in the Alpine Meadows. You'll see wild yaks and vast empty landscapes. This is near Qinghai Lake. It's a tough, cold, windy climb. But there is a strange story about this peak. In the 1950s, Chinese survey teams were mapping the area. Several climbers on Yuju Peak vanished. They were near the summit. The weather was clear, and they just disappeared. The survivors, when they made it back to camp, were shaken. They told a strange story. They said the mountain was whispering to them. They said the wind sounded like voices, and the voices were guiding them, telling them where to step. They said their friends who vanished, they heard a different voice. A voice that called them up over the ridge into the blue sky. The locals call them mountain spirits. They say the mountain chooses who gets to the top and who it keeps. From a whispering mountain, we go to a green paradise. Not all of Tibet is high and dry. We travel to Ningchi, the Tibetan Switzerland, and we find Rawak Lake. This place is stunning. It's a turquoise glacial lake surrounded by green forests and snow-capped peaks. It looks like the Canadian Rockies. It's on the scenic route from Lhasa to Ningchi. The lake is a perfect mirror, reflecting the mountains. It's fed by the Rawak Glacier. This is a place to stop, to breathe, and to be amazed by the beauty. But the local fishermen, they won't fish here. They tell a story. They say that centuries ago, a Nyingma Lama was being chased by enemies. He had a sacred text, a terma, a treasure text from Guru Rinpoche. To protect it, he threw it in the lake. He put a blessing on it. And a curse. The blessing is that the text is still down there, safe. The curse is on the fish. The story goes that the fish in this lake are enchanted. They are the guardians of the text, and if you catch one and eat it, the fish will steal your voice. You won't be able to speak, and fishermen will tell you that during big storms they can see the text, a golden glowing box bubbling up from the deep. A cursed lake is one thing, but what about a cursed road? We travel to Chamdo to Duncan County. This is a nomadic haven. This is not for tourists. It's along the ancient Tea-Horse Road. This was the highway of the old world. For centuries, traders walked this path, carrying tea from China and bringing back horses from Tibet. This county is a land of yak farms, rolling green hills and wooden homes. The festivals here are uncommercialized. They are the real deal. To get here, you need special permits. You need a guide. This is deep, remote Tibet. The people here are tough. They are the descendants of those traders, and they have a story about the road. The traders back in the 1600s had a hard life. They faced bandits and blizzards and terrible trails. So, in this county, they did a ritual. They buried a road guardian idol, a small metal statue buried somewhere along the path. They prayed to it for safe passage, and the story goes the idol is still there. Sometimes, after an earthquake or a big mudslide, the earth moves, and the idol is revealed. The nomad who finds it, it is said, will have safe journeys for the rest of his life. His yaks will be healthy, and his family will be rich. From a magic idol, we go on a magic hike. This is the Ganden to Samye trek. This is one of the great spiritual hikes of the world. It's not about seeing Everest. It's about walking the path of the lamas. It's a 4 to 5 day hike, linking two of the most important monasteries in Tibet. This is a high-altitude trek. You will cross the Shugla Pass, which is over 17,200 feet. You will walk through high alpine valleys, see clear blue lakes, and pass by hermitages, small meditation huts stuck to the side of cliffs. This is a deeper experience than the Everest treks. It's about the spiritual journey. But this route wasn't found by a surveyor. The story goes that Tsongkhapa, the great 14th century reformer, envisioned this route in a dream. He saw the path from his monastery at Ganden to the ancient monastery of Samye. And as he walked the path in his dream, he left cairns, small piles of stones, to mark the way. When he woke up, he told his monks to follow the path in his dream, and they did. The hidden story is that those cairns, the stone piles, are still there. But they are hidden, and they don't just mark the path, they hold his prophecies. Locals say that if you find one of these hidden cairns, you must be silent. And the wind, as it blows through the stones, will tell you the prophecy. It will tell you the future. A hiking path is one thing, but what about a place where no one lives at all? Welcome to Shuanghu. This is officially China's most sparsely populated plateau. It's northwest of Nagku. The altitude is high. Almost all of it is over 16,400 feet. There are almost no roads. This is a wildlife paradise. You will see herds of wild yak, Tibetan antelope, and maybe, if you are lucky, a snow leopard. This is a place of absolute desolation. It's for adventurers only. You must be in a fully supplied expedition. But this place, it has ghosts. The hidden story is about the ancient nomads who used to live here. Centuries ago, this area was warmer, but a climate shift, a mini ice age, made it unlivable. The stories say that entire nomadic clans vanished in sudden freak blizzards. They were just erased. And today, as you travel this empty landscape, you will find them. Ghost camps, the skeletons of yaks tied to a post, a collapsed tent pole, a few scattered bones. The new nomads, they will not go near these places. They say that at night, when the wind blows, you can still hear them, phantom yak bells. The sound of a ghost herd still wandering the tundra looking for their lost masters. A ghost camp is chilling, but what about a valley of living spirits? We go south to Lebu Valley. This is in Quanah County. The name means a good place. And it is. This is another low-altitude paradise. It's alive with Monpa culture. The Monpa are an ethnic group with their own unique customs. The valley is full of bamboo groves, waterfalls, and wildflowers. You'll see monkeys in the trees. You can visit a Monpa village. They will offer you their famous barley wine. It's a happy, peaceful, and almost unknown part of Tibet. But the Monpa elders, they guard a secret. The secret is in a cave hidden behind one of the waterfalls. Inside that cave, they say, is a crystal skull. This isn't a modern story. This is their ancient legend. The skull was left by their ancestors. and it has a power. If you are brave enough to go behind the waterfall and you find the cave and you touch the crystal skull, you are granted the ability to speak to animals, just like their ancestors did. But there's a catch. It only works once, one time in your life. You get to ask one question to one animal. The elders, they say, choose wisely. A talking skull is a wild tale, but what about a talking wall? This is not for the faint of heart. We are going to Biru County, to the Nagku Skeleton Wall. This is at Dodaka Monastery, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It is a yard, about 4,000 square meters, surrounded by a wall, and the wall is lined with human skulls, thousands of them. Framed in wooden boxes, staring out at you. This is a sky burial site, but it's a rare exception. Usually, everything is left for the vultures. Here, for some reason, the skulls were kept. It is a creepy, powerful, and deeply strange place. It's a reminder of death. But for Tibetans, it's a reminder of impermanence, that life is short. The hidden story here is the skulls talk. The monks who care for the wall, they will tell you. They say that the skulls whisper their origins if you are sensitive enough to listen. They tell you who they were. A farmer, a trader, a monk. The story goes that one monk, meditating by the wall, heard a skull whispering about a conflict, about a terrible event. It led the monk to a hidden valley. And there, he found a hidden mass grave from a forgotten border war. The skull had told him, so that the bodies could finally be blessed. We are near the end of our journey. We have seen so many hidden places, but there are still a few more. When most people picture Tibet, they see the towering Potala Palace in Lhasa, or lines of monks in crimson robes. They think of the high barren plateau, the roof of the world, but that is the Tibet of postcards and headlines. The real Tibet, the one hidden from the tourist buses, is a land of whispered legends, deep valleys and forces that blur the line between nature and the supernatural. To find it, you have to leave the main roads and follow the ancient pathways, where every rock and river tells a story. Our first stop takes us to the very edge of the Himalayas, to the Girong Valley. This is in the Komolangma Reserve, the Everest Reserve. This is not just a valley, it is an ancient trade route to Nepal, a gateway between two worlds. And the journey into it is a shock to the system. You descend from the high, cold, wind-scoured tundra, a world of rock and ice at 14,000 feet. The air is so thin it barely feels like breathing. Then you drop down, down, down into a green forested valley at only 6,500 feet. The temperature changes instantly. The dry cold is gone, replaced by thick, humid air you can almost taste. You have gone from a world of emptiness to a world of life. You go from a world of rock and ice to a world of green woods, vibrant flowers, and the chatter of monkeys. Here, nestled in the green, is the Paba Monastery. Its Nepalese-style architecture a clear sign of the deep connection this valley has to the south. But the hidden story, the one the villagers know, is about a princess. Princess Brikuti from Nepal traveled this very route. This wasn't just a journey, it was history in the making. Back in the 7th century, she was on her way to marry the great Tibetan king, Songtsen Gampo. This marriage was a union of kingdoms, and Brikuti was a devout Buddhist. She was the one who helped bring the Dharma, the teachings of Buddhism, to the roof of the world. Her bridal procession was a sight to behold, a massive train of guards, attendants, and pack animals. And she was carrying a dowry fit for an emperor, chests of gold, strings of priceless jewels, and sacred statues for the new temples she would build. As they came through the narrowest part of the Girong Valley, tragedy struck. They were ambushed. Bandits hiding in the high rocks rained down on the procession. It was chaos. The princess's guards knew they were outnumbered. Their only priority was protecting the princess, but they could not let this sacred dowry fall into the bandits' hands. In a desperate move, they took the jewels, the coins, and the sacred objects, and they hid them. They buried them right there in the valley in the chaos of the fight. They marked the spots with rocks or near strange trees, praying they could return. They fought off the bandits, and the princess got to Lhasa. Her marriage changed Tibet forever, but in the business of building a new kingdom, they never went back for the jewels. The guards who buried it were scattered or fell in later battles. The route was too dangerous. The memory faded into legend until today. The villagers of Girong Valley know the legend is true because to this day, after a big rainstorm or a spring mudslide, the earth gives up its secrets. A farmer plowing a field will find an ancient gold coin minted in a forgotten kingdom. A child playing by the river will spot a single brilliant turquoise bead. A woman washing clothes will find a broken, impossibly intricate earring. The dowry of the lost princess, the money they get from selling these small treasures, it funds the village festivals all these centuries later. A princess's dowry is a fine treasure, but what about a waterfall that sings? We travel east to the Kading Valley. This is a dramatic, beautiful gorge carved from the rock by millennia of water. Its main feature is the Tianfo waterfall. Tianfo means heavenly Buddha, and when you see it, you understand why. This waterfall is huge. It's a staggering 200-meter, 650-foot drop. The water doesn't just fall, it explodes from the cliff. The water crashes down into a deep pool, and the entire valley is permanently filled with a cloud of thick, cold mist. Even on the sunniest day, you'll feel the spray on your face from hundreds of yards away. There are short hiking paths, slick with moisture that lets you get closer. It's a beautiful, powerful place, but the tourists who come for a quick photo and leave, they miss the real story. The local herders, the ones who have lived in this gorge for generations, they know the secret. You have to come at dawn. At dawn, as the very first sliver of light hits the top of the waterfall, something magical happens. The waterfall sings. It's not just the roar of water. That sound is always there. This is different. The unique acoustics of the gorge, the specific way the water hits the rocks after its long fall, it creates a sound, a perfect low-frequency harmonic. It sounds like chanting, a deep Om sound that seems to vibrate in your very bones. The herders call it the singing waterfall, and they tell a story about a mute child back in the 1800s. The child had never spoken a word. The parents were heartbroken. They had tried everything, taken the child to monks and healers to no avail. As a last resort, they made a pilgrimage to the Kading Valley. They brought the child here at dawn. The waterfall was singing, and the child, hearing the mantra of the water, spoke for the first time. The herders say the waterfall has been singing that child's voice ever since, a permanent echo of that first miracle. Our journey has taken us from the high and dry to the low and wet, from ghosts to fairies. We have seen the real Tibet, the Tibet that is hidden behind the headlines and far from the tourist buses, a land of deep faith, ancient stories, and landscapes that take your breath away. It's a land where the border between this world and the next is very, very thin. A place of glowing relics and talking skulls, a place of ghost camps and rainbow bodies. What other hidden treasures do you think are still buried in the mountains? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more hidden stories.